Well, Vaughn, we got it from Amazon. Yes, it came. This is it. You know we like buying our books because we don't want to be considered one of them low propensity voters. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we got to get um, our voters and other people to do is to read. And this book is Lisa Gray's Without Precedence, how Chief Justice Roberts and his accomplices rewrote the Constitution and dismantled our rights. So it's on you, Johnny. We know you did it. We pointing the finger at you, so we're just letting you know. So in the meantime, before we get into the book, well, basically not the whole book because I really want you all to read it. Because, like I said, Lisa Gray was on Mark Elias' Democracy docket, and it was a very good show. And she made a lot of major points. And I said, "Oh, I just got to go out there and get that book. I really need that book. My brain need all this information because we got enough people out there rocking it on the list and just straight up stupid. So." We got to get it right this time, and we got to get it right. And how we're going to get it right? We're going to get it right with knowledge, reading, finding out who in the hell is doing this to us. And so, the number one ace boon coon is Justice John Roberts. Okay, remember that, Mr. $25 million man up there in the Supreme Court. Um, that's right, $25 million. You heard it. This in this book probably got more than that. Uh, and stripping all our voting rights away. Yep, him and his Sinister Six. And who was the Sinister Six, Boo?
The Sinister Six would be Amy Coney Burnett, Neil Gorsuch, Samuel Alito, my very uncle Clarence Thomas, Stambo Thomas,
Okay, did we name them all?
Justice Kavanaugh, the drunk.
Allegedly, because we weren't there and we don't know if, he drinks or not. So we'll just say allegedly, you know. And, well, I know one thing. He doesn't want to explain anything to anybody because we just don't need an explanation. He just needs to give us those little sticky notes and end the story. We just have to take that and roll with it. And that's another way our rights are getting wiped out with no information or less information. So, like I said, again, without precedent, uh, by Lisa Graves. And I really appreciate all the information that you're bringing to the forefront because it has really been helpful. And if any of you all get out there and think that, you know, you're not doing your job, it's moving slow, it's helping. It is really helping. Before we go into that, let's just a little bit of that plane ride with the one and only DJT in his crown in a plane doing what to America?
He's shitting on America. AI video.
And this is the person that the Supreme Court want to wield their power to. Congress has laid down and died, and
The
just
Republican Congress laid down and died.
yeah, okay, the Republican Congress. And the bottom line is that basically he can shit on America, get get all everything that he needs to take us out. And this is who you want to be stuck to. And I thought you all were smart. Aren't you Yale and Harvard and all these fancy schools? I mean,
Princeton.
what did they teach you? Is this how you solve problems? Like giving all all the power over to a man that has no control and power over himself and constantly losing in the courts, the lower courts, which is I consider the Supreme Court, and the higher courts that's given all what the judgments, the critical guardrails to DJT. It's just been horrible. Oh, well, we at the word now. Allegedly, what? Fool?
Nicely drunk with power.
Drunk with power. And the other word before that, he was a felon.
He's not only a felon, he's a pedophile.
Allegedly, we'll find out. But he's been trying to keep all of the twists and turns off of him, so that we won't come to what's going on with Epstein. But anytime you're trying to keep holding votes back from actually letting a person in from what being the final call on the Epstein trials, there's a serious problem with that. And what is that problem, Vaughn?
Their problem is they don't want the secrets to come out. They don't want no accountability.
No accountability.
That's what they want to do. What the hell they want without any accountability.
I'm still kind of that plane ride kind of got me. I keep going back to that because I wonder if Justice John Roberts saw that that this is our president of the United States
They don't care.
shitting on America, letting him stay in and being a total embarrassment to our nation. That's just horrible, and constantly bending a knee or capitulating or kissing that person's ass. That has showed time and time again that all these people around him, what has happened? What has happened, Vaughn?
They're enablers. People like Stephen Miller, people like Christine Nome, Pam Bondi, the female Roy Cohn of this generation.
It's just been awful. It has. But I want to bring to your attention today this book because we gotta know. We gotta know who's screwing us. Like they say, who's zooming who? We have to know who's screwing us. And this is the person right here in his Sinister Six that is trying to take our voting rights away. So
He's the head snake of it all, the head honcho.
Mark did say that we have to go at them with the perspective of also being an originalist. Mark has a big heart because it'll be knives out once again. So I just want to read you all because I think I think it was chapter 12.
Yeah.
It was domination and it was on voting. And this is what I want you guys to know. That what Chief Justice John Roberts has been up to. So, the Roberts Court initiated rollbacks of civil rights enforcement, beginning with voting protection. Then you had the Shelby County v. Holders, 2013 is portrayed as Roberts' original sin, gutting pre-clearance safeguards from the Voting Rights Act. The decision enables states with histories of discrimination to pass restrictive voting laws unchecked.
In the South. Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida.
Got jacked. Okay. Roberts justified the ruling under equal sovereignty, which Graves called legal fiction. And we call it bullshit. Okay? That's what we're going to call it. Robert insisted racism has receded, an assertion Graves says ignores decades of data. Now, he ain't in this beautiful chocolate skin. And now he's trying to say race neutral, using them words, taking it out the box, basically saying that we didn't suffer, it don't exist. I don't know what color wheel is he on, but it sure ain't the black, brown, tan, gray. He ain't on that one.
No, he's not. He just wanted to say, unless if they're outly racist, it'd have to be outly racist and not be result or intent.
No, he using those words to cover it up and say that it really didn't happen. It no longer exists. Them guys that was on there and they was coming out, the little young Democrats, what was that?
No, these are young Republicans, and back in New York, these are the future Republicans in New York, Florida. This was a New York, Kansas Republican Party. Yeah. And you think that it was over? No, it ain't. It's only beginning.
In Bromwich v. DNC 2021, the courts narrowed Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, further crippling its reach, just taking all the guardrails. That's what this is about. We're gonna give these wins, and I've already said to the real Supreme Court, fight. Thank you for fighting for us like hell, because the Supreme Court has just decided that they want to wield their power over to a man that shits on America. So if he's shitting on America, then I guess you all coming out and y'all shitting on America too. So that's just my little spin on it. All right. Graves argued that this was part of a stepwise dismantling of all federal anti-discrimination tools in voting. The court's decisions are portrayed as facilitating deliberate disenfranchisement of voters and colors. What do you think about that, Vaughn?
What I think about this is that once you take out the Voting Rights Act and take out the Voting Rights Act, next thing you're going to do is go after economic rights, because voting and economics come together as one. You can't separate the two.
And then it says Roberts avoided open racism, but used race neutral reasons to achieve racist outcomes. So he didn't want to say that word. He didn't want that coming out his mouth. But we all know he a racist. That's just, we just need to step up to the plate, call him out and say, my boy is a racist. Him and the Sinister Six, they all racist. That's it.
They all racist, especially, John Roberts has been fighting against the Voting Rights Act since the 1980s during the Reagan administration, and clerk for, guess who? Another racist judge, Justice William Rehnquist.
Yes. This, and what really kills me is when people were saying about Harris when she came into the campaign. This was hard in the days that she had when they was up there, 50 years back, being racist, doing this undercover brother shit, and everybody's trying to dissect why she lost. She lost simple because of money came into the election, dark money. The billionaires, it's the billionaires, and not all billionaires, but
it's the white billionaires like the Elon Musk, the Zuckerbucks, things like that. The Jeff Bezos. I'm talking about those billionaires.
The court's decisions are portrayed as facilitating deliberate disenfranchisement of voters' colors. Roberts avoided opening racism, but used racist neutral reasoning to achieve racist outcome. So I went back to make sure that, I had read that. Graves contrasts this with Justice Ginsburg's dissent warning of rainstorm blindness after discarding umbrellas in use. Oh, so I'm standing out there in the rain, thinking that somebody's really pissing on me when I know it's really raining. And I need the tool of an umbrella to protect me, but that's not what's going to happen with Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. We don't really know what's going to happen, but after seeing
the oral arguments, they are likely to do it.
And and the bottom line is, I know that I want to say to each and every person, all the attorneys, that they have really fought hard.
Especially the person that did the NAACP, she did a very excellent job. Kwame Brown Jackson did an excellent job. But the way that the oral arguments is going, it's just going in.
But we just want you to know that they can argue whatever we want, whatever they want. All their shit is based on bullshit, is made up. And the bottom line is they just want to, end the last guardrails of the Voting Rights Act because they never wanted us to have the right to vote.
And they wanted to do it under partisanship. They're not going to go after Section 2 just get rid of it 100% like Uncle Clarence Thomas. What it's likely going to do is weaken under partisanship, where discrimination of partisanship is okay.
The court legitimized aggressive gerrymandering by declaring a political question in Rucho v. Common Cause 2019. Ain't nobody asked them questions. Who's bringing out these questions? They bringing out the questions, right?
Yeah, they're bringing out the questions. And it was the Supreme Court that was the one that brought is Section 2 unconstitutional itself.
Oh, this would make Bernie's hair stand on his head. Citizens United 2010 amplified that power by flooding elections with untraceable billionaire-funded money. Bernie had said a long time ago, get the dark money out of the election. Shout out to Don Lemons and shout out to IHIP. I had enough, because they asked that question to Hakeem Jeffries, and they asked him, would you take money from what?
From the billionaires. And if you think about Citizens United started as a bad movie, okay, on Hillary Clinton.
Well, but Hakeem kind of stumbled there, and that was kind of a bit worrying, because either it should be like you in love and you should reach out there and say, I'm in love, it's spontaneous. But he kind of held back, and that let me know.
Yeah, he's a corporate Democrat.
Yep. You're a corporate Democrat.
He can't be relied on. He can't be trusted.
And as you saw with the marches, we're not waiting for the Democrats to save us. We need to get out there and save our own ass. That's just it. We the people have to get out there and do what we need to do and come together, and get rid of all this hatred, because hatred needs to be taken off the plate. We need to open. It doesn't matter whether whatever we disagree on. It is time for us to all pull together, because you've said you don't want a king. You don't want a king. None of us do. But even if we have to disagree on a lot of the issues, then that's what we need to do. But we need to come together. We got one thing in common. We do not want a king, and we do want our democracy and our freedom. Okay? So, Graves ties these outcomes to federalists, plutocrats, design originating in right-wing think tanks. I don't know what they're thinking about, because these people don't appear to be very smart at all. The courts has sanctioned extremism by allowing jurisdiction to craft districts that reward polarization. Corporate and dark money legal networks like those tied to Leonard Leo are integral to this process. And where is Leonard Leo? We haven't heard much about Leonard Leo. Where's Leonard Leo, Will?
Leonard Leo has been very quiet lately. He's the one that set it up the courts in the first place, the Federalist Society.
Oh, so that's what Leonard Leo was good at. And so all these...
He was under the background. Just like he is another generation of Lewis Powell of this generation.
Graves highlights Roberts' career-long hostility to voting rights dating to his Reagan administration memos, which you had said. He been a hater for many years now. He came in like smooth operator, trying to convincing Bush that he didn't have all this malice or this hatred, and in the end, people got played. That's what happened. He made everybody believe one thing. They all got up there and swore an oath to the Constitution, knowing damn well
they have no intention of doing it. They have intention of changing the Constitution that's suited back to them. If you talk about the originalists of the Constitution, what that really means is back to the days where blacks were slaves, and only this time they may not be slaves. We'll be deported like Mexicans and Hispanics.
Those memos opposed strengthening the Voting Rights Act in the 1980s. And Graves describes Roberts' 1982 arguments as early blueprint for his later majority opinion. The conservative majority ruling have normalized voter suppression or as governance. What do you think about that, Bon?
When I think about with voter suppression, they just don't want people that are in the skin color to vote at all.
They don't want us to have no say whatsoever.
No, they don't want no say whatsoever. They want bad billionaires to have the rule, and you can't say nothing.
And it's okay for DJT to actually shit on America. Graves emphasized that Roberts framed restrictions as anti-fraud. Despite no evidence of widespread fraud, the court has consistently sided with GOP-controlled states in voting disputes. The majority uses originalist reasoning to reinterpret modern democratic norms narrowly. So the originalist was on the Constitution that was back there in the 1800s. Still
the Roger Taney, and the Supreme Court, and another Supreme Court justice that wrote the majority opinion of Plessy versus Ferguson.
Yes, and basically they're saying that was the worst decision then. It's the worst decision now, and with Roberts taking over the helm, here we go again. He did it with the Immunity Act, and he's just adding it on by, okay, they're not paying attention. Yes, we're paying attention, because even if you want to use race neutral, even if you want to say
it's not realistic to do race neutral, the effect is very racist. Like if you get rid of Section 2 or weaken Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, here is what's going to happen first. 30% of black people, 30% in the House of Representatives will disappear. I can name you a few representatives that will be gone already. Representative James Clyburn of South Carolina, gone. Representative Emmanuel Cleaver's already gone. He's not voted protected. Representative Bernie Thompson of Mississippi. Jasmine Crockett of Texas, gone.
All right. But we know that term limits need to be on the Supreme Court, and the Sinister Six and Roberts and his people needs to go also. All right. Now, Graves connects this to the Federalist Society long-term ideological capture of judicial pipeline. Billionaire donors use amicus briefs to steer outcomes favoring voter suppression. So, basically, the billionaires are running what?
The bad billionaires like the Pete Coors and the Coors Corporation that founded the Heritage Foundation.
Just up there making up shit and just saying that we're gonna rule the country, and because we got money, and it's a caste system, and we're casting our nets out, saying that, well, we're gonna, keep the black and brown, beige, separated. We're gonna divide them from the white community, and then we're gonna keep them at each other's throat. And while we got them at each other's throat, then we're gonna take over, and then we're going to make the white people over there feel like they're better than the black people, even though they'll never be better than us because they don't have any money and the color is green. All right? So,
and if you're a black billionaire, it's even worse if you're a black billionaire because you're not going to get the same rewards. You're just not.
Ooh, the Robert Court shadow docket ruling have quietly upheld restrictive election measures. They went through the back door, grabbed them little no-nonsense shadow dockets, and this is the one that Kavanaugh just loved to say, we ain't got to explain nothing to you. Nothing. Of all the people, Kavanaugh, for real, seriously, and we're tired of the sticky notes. You'll hear us say that because you can't judge something or analyze something on a one-liner. Shout out to Mark Elias once again, and Lisa Graves, Michael Popak, who else? Midas Touching Network, all the attorneys from Kirshner to everybody that has been fighting, for our rights. And just to let you know that we are paying attention. Now, we may not have the nice little style that you all have, because can you imagine me being somebody's attorney? Oh, wouldn't have a job. I wouldn't have a job, just seriously. Now.
Unless you have your own law firm.
Yeah, and that's what Mike did. Shout out to Mike. I might come that way. I'm not trying to have no accident. I just want to see the kids and stuff. And see, they don't really want to know this, but the reason why the Republicans are mad because Mike and them over there, they're shooting bullets and having babies and being human beings and got dogs, and the other crew, they don't have all of that. So, they're angry. They're just angry because
misery loves company.
They have to go out and get little kids and do whatever they do. So, on to the next. These unsigned late night decisions magnify disenfranchisement without full court scrutiny. So they meeting in the alley, in a back room, getting their little whiskey on, plotting, figuring out, this is how we're gonna get them. We're gonna take them down. Didn't they do this to Obama too?
Yeah.
Yeah, they met in a little corner and
they met at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And that's how their strategy was when Barack. And that's how it was at the Kilo Coast at that Washington restaurant. And it was during that Washington restaurant they said no to everything. And that's when the first Tea Party was born.
We got to find out where they meeting at because we got to bust this stuff up. We just got to. Now, Graves claimed Robert's moderation image masks his true radical incrementalism. Okay, Lisa, I like your big words, but dude is a racist. Mask nothing. Mask is off. Gloves are off. We call it the way we see it. This is who he is. This is who he's been for years. And he came in like a smooth criminal and just basically...
He came in like Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal too.
Yeah. And basically, hid behind all these lies all these years saying that what he was going to do, and he didn't do any of that. Basically, the courts haven't done their job. It's the lower courts, who I recognize as the Supreme Court, that has done an exceptional job. So we shall see coming up. She cites his careful crafting of narrow decisions that achieve large-scale effects over time. It's going to mess us up for a lifetime. That's what it's going to do. And while everybody's over there running around thinking that this is not serious or this is going to go away,
it's never going to go away.
This is going to be for a life.
It's going to be a lifetime. And you have to destroy that monster while they're small. Like Garrett Gunderson even said, you have to destroy the problem while it's small. Because if you don't destroy the problem while it's small, it gets fester and fester, and it gets worse.
Well, shout out to Garrett Gunderson, but my theory on that is that when they take back the House, the Senate, and everything, then we have to destroy, all the people that was in this, and basically they have to be punished. My boy running around punishing everybody on his retribution tour, getting prosecutors that don't prosecute.
Getting unqualified prosecutors.
I mean, I'm not a fan of voting. I'm not a fan of company, but they don't deserve this.
They don't. And it's just the beginning. They're going after these two folks that were not the fans of first, and then after that, Letitia James, and they also went after Lisa Cook of the Federal Reserve as well.
Judicial language of neutrality often disguises partisan outcome. No.
There ain't nothing neutral about it.
He just want to eliminate the word, so he don't want to be viewed as a racist, which he is. We just need to say,
he's a racist.
And just get it over with.
He's with the Christian Taliban. He's with the Christian terrorists.
Okay. Oh, yes. Graves likens this approach to procedural camouflage. Procedural camouflage. I like that, Lisa. But it's all out in the open now. It's out in the open. The court's voting ruling collectively dismantles the reconstructive amendments' intended protection. I'm going to do everything to take this out. I'm going to use the word race neutral. I'm going to pretend like racism never happened. I'm going to erase all this. I'm in La La Land, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it's just they're doing the same thing like with global climate change, when global climate change didn't exist.
The court's voting ruling collectively dismantles the reconstructive amendments intended for protection. I read that again because sometimes you lose lines, and that can happen, especially when you're looking through bifocals and you're like, oh, well, I missed that. But we got it again. Okay. Black and Latino voters have been proportionately most harmed by post-Shelby regime. That was in Memphis, right?
Yeah, Alabama. Shelby is Alabama. That's Alabama. But it's spread throughout the South. And most of the black people in the United States live in the South. Mississippi is it's the blackest in the nation.
So what I need all the white voters to do, even if they just redistrict or draw their maps, get out here, white people, and vote. Carry your weight. Just vote. I don't care where you at. You could be sitting on top of a trash can. You could be sitting on the curb. You could be at the liquor store. Just vote.
Or in the ambulance, or in the hospital dying. Vote.
Yeah, but that's horrible. Graves views Roberts' leadership as central to normalizing voter suppression through legal precedents. You see that? You see what he's done? And he's caused so much damage. That's right. John Roberts caused all this damage. And you didn't think that, you were going to walk through the halls and carry your little $25 million plus, get richer, probably got someplace to go when America collapses and we're here. And this is the destruction that you and the Sinister Six caused for us to all straighten up, because this is not going to go away. We can march And that was a wonderful march. But it's going to take a lot to put our country back together again. But I just, like I said, I wanted my grandbabies, my friends, family, in-laws, outlaws. I just wanted them to know who the culprits were. And they're the racist Sinister Six and John Roberts. Okay. Now, she calls Shelby Bronovich and Rucho the anti-democracy trilogy. They did it up on their case, didn't they? Roberts' majority encouraged state legislatures to write self-serving election laws. Yes, he twisted it. He wrote it like he wanted. We have to serve like Roberts wanted. We have to worship like the Christian nationalists want. We have to do what they say do. No, we don't, because we have rights. And the people holds the power. Whatever happens, the people have the power.
If they use it. If they use it and get informed, they have the power. If they use it. If they get off their ass, they have the power.
The court's intervention limits Congress' ability to restore lost protection. Graves connect these judicial moves to legislature paralysis on voting rights reform. And that's why Mark Elias and many people out there have worked so hard and went to court on our rights. And that's why I was saying that any content creator make a video for our rights, for our country. We deserve that, that much from everybody out there. Just get up here. You ain't got to get like, subscribe, all. Just state your piece, and there you go, and put it up on YouTube, because that's what we do. The courts, all right. Graves connects these judicial moves to legislature paralysis on voting rights reform. The chapter frames the court as the guardian of minority rule, not democratic principle. So who in the minority want to rule?
They want to rule the majority, which was majority intercultural democracy and interracial, similar to South Africa.
The billionaires.
South African billionaires.
Want to rule it all.
South African billionaires, Jeff Bezos, he's Cuban.
Okay. So, the chapter frames the court as the guardian of minority rules, not the democratic principles. Read that. Roberts' majority decision institutionalized cynicism about government. He's very cynical. The erosions of voter confidence consolidates power among elites. That's right. So, stick to your guns. Stand for what you believe in. Don't get complicit, because we the people, we rule. There's only a few of them, and their money shouldn't state what we have rights in.
That's the only minority that's destroying the country. It ain't no black or Latino or no transgenders that's destroying. The real minority is the corrupt billionaires like the Peter Tills and the Jeff Bezos. They're the minority billionaires. That's the true minority that's destroying the country.
Graves depicts Roberts as the velvet hand directing the iron fist, or right-wing jurisprudence. He is the hand that rocks the cradle. That's who Justice John Roberts is. We're very unhappy because you deceived the people. You stood and took your oath, and you didn't take it for the Constitution. DJT didn't even put his hands on the Bible, and that was fine with you, because you all hate this country. But you saw that march, and we love our country. We're telling you that we love our country, and if this is the fight we have to fight, then so be it. This is the fight we have to fight. So, the court's interpretation of the First Amendment favors wealthy speakers over collective political voices. Vaughn, would you like to say something on that?
On the wealthy speakers, the real wealthy speakers is going to be like the people like the Bezos, Peter Thiel, and the Coors that founded the Heritage Foundation. And
so, they're saying that all this money was handed over to billionaires who don't need any of this money, who's gotten really crazy,
Elon Musk,
who's gotten crazy, drunk with power, and has done everything to destroy our country. And so that's why you're seeing the masses of people rising up to defend democracy. Graves notes how Citizens United redefined political corruption as limited solely to quid pro quo. I shake your hand, you shake my hand. And Bernie had been saying that for years. Bernie Sanders had been saying that for years. The chapter argues this linguistic manipulation hollered campaigns ethic law. Just dug a hole. You know, we're about the corruption is great. Come over here. You can buy socks, drawers, and all, y'all. So we're for sale. Open 24/7. We're for sale. And that's what Roberts and DJT has done to the country. Roberts' jurisprudence valorized donor privacy while erasing voter equality. So, donor privacy versus our equality.
And what that really means, donor privacy, that means that the donors are not going to be held accountable.
They want to privatize everything.
They do. They want to privatize the gains and socialize the losses.
Wow. Each voting decision compounds inequality within democratic institutions. The resulting judiciary is described as structurally anti-majoritarian. So the majority rule because they got money. And we shouldn't have no say. No, we the people should rule because it's more of us. And we have rights. And that's what we're standing on now. And oligarchies and the courts and Congress, they don't want to see this. But the King's rallies, they're growing and growing and growing because the people are tired. They are sick and tired. But the people need to know who's pulling the strings. From Vogt to Miller to Roberts, behind the scene Koch brothers, and
even the Koch brothers, they don't get along with DJT. They just get their agenda, but they hate him.
But I wonder, Roberts gonna have to choose between DJT and the Koch brothers. I'd like to see how that come out. Graves linked these trends to broader constitutional deconstructions across Roberts' dockets. So, Graves also concludes that his leadership has created a new caste of money citizens, and we're not included. Black, brown, and beige is not included into the new money caste because that's who they want to rule the United States of America, is the what? The billionaires, the oligarchs.
The white billionaires. We have to say the white billionaires, it's not all the same because black billionaires don't get the same reward as the white billionaires because even if you're a billionaire, if you're black, you're still black.
Okay. So, Gray's reforms proposal includes term limits to the courts. Shout out to Lisa Graves for that because the court really needs to be reformed. And Michael Popak said, "Give me the number 15." Shout out to the number 15. 5, 10, 15 judges. That's what we need. If we're gonna go in, we gotta have that type where we can get a balance here instead of a one-sided. And shout out to our 3 favorite judges who's fighting so hard, which is Kagan,
Sotomayor, and our favorite judge, the Thurgood Marshall of this generation, Kwaji Brown Jackson.
Her reform proposed limit terms, ethic codes, Clarence. Oh, Lord Jesus, don't let me get started on Mr. No Integrity. I want all the money. I ride with my billionaire friends. I ride around in my trailer. I don't care about the black people because
Stambo Thomas.
I ain't never been black, So you know how that goes. And it says, and legislature restoration of voting protection. We need our guardrails. We need to be protected. And we need voters that are well informed, that's not voting against their interests. And we got to take hatred off the plate. Hatred destroys. And we're watching.
Hatred is just an emotion. Now, another one is indifference. Hatred and indifference.
We're watching in real time the hatred of DJT self-destruct and destroy himself. We're watching in real time Justice Robin and the Sinister Six. Their hatred destroy our nation. We're watching that in real time.
Just like the Roman Empire.
I don't want Roberts to get up out of his seat, roll across the floor in his black robe and think we're hell not paying attention, because we are paying attention. And we're paying attention and learning. And like I said, get this book. Ours have came in. Excellent book. I'm going to go back and read, just pick out some chapters and maybe, read some of those chapters to you guys. But we have to be well informed. We have to be ready. And most of all, we have to stick together and stand for what we believe in. Again, we're not waiting for the Dems to save us. We have to save ourselves. And we got to continue on with our fight. And fear conquers a lot. But not only with fear, you can be fearless. You can be fearless. So I enjoyed talking to you guys. I will be back. We will be back.
We'll be back, and I got a video coming.
Yes, we will be back. And the bottom line is I enjoy seeing all the characters out there on No King's Day. They probably arrested the lion, tigers, and bears. Oh, my. And once again, stay safe. Stay in the fight.
And stay free.
Absolutely.
And stay smart.
And John Roberts, we know who you are. We know who you are. And if you don't want to think that you're not racist, then think again. Race neutral is not going to get it. Not in this moment in time. No. Because there's too many of us out here, and we can't say race neutral. We didn't suffer. People didn't die for these rights. If you want to think in your head and erase the history, then you go ahead. But we have lived it. So on that note, instead of having justice as Justice John Roberts, we could say racist John Roberts. And that's not allegedly. That's been written in this book and several other books.
And the actions that he took since he was a young lawyer during the Reagan administration, and the actions he took when he worked for another racist, Justice William Rehnquist.
So he will never be a marshal.
He's a Justice Taney.
Robert Taney. And that decision, Dred Scott, everything that I have dreaded throughout my life is once again on the table. And so, to all the attorneys, to all the people that's fighting for our democracy, carry on. And we'll be back. And we're calling it like we see it. Racist and the Sinister Six, John Roberts and his court.